kind of want to go out of that for a second, out of the Raw news, and kind of going into the news that broke last week that you asked a question about it on this week's hashtag SCSM, because I know you were. Let's talk about this real quick before we get to our Survivor Series predictions. You made a prediction, RJ, that did ultimately come true. This is a show, too. If you're going to make a statement, you got to make it here. Because remember, it was the night after WrestleMania, or 2 days after WrestleMania. We said, we better wrap the show up before someone dies. Ultimate Warrior passes away that same night. Something else happened that we got right or whatever. Now, last week, if I could include a soundbite right here, I would. But you said, I will not be content until Hornswoggle, El Torito, and Great Khali are gone. 3 days later, the Great Khali has been released from WWE.
I was so happy when I saw it.
I'll get your thoughts on it right now. What do you think?
I was like looking on Bleacher Report, and it was like Great Khali Released, and I just was like fist pumped.
Yes.
Like you say all the time, like you want to see any guy lose their job, but freaking God, Khali.
He was a waste.
He's such a waste, and he has bigger and better things. He can go act more. Like he's the big giant. He just wasn't he just never was the best wrestler. He just couldn't walk or move or do anything.
Never had a good match.
Exactly, never had a good match.
7 years,
they put him with Batista, Undertaker, everyone, and just his size. Like he is like a spectacle. I guess he's a freaking giant, but he just couldn't wrestle. The whole point of it's to be able to wrestle, and he couldn't. At least Big Show can move and stuff like that. So I'm happy Great Khali's gone. Hopefully, in a couple days, we'll see Hornswoggle and El Torito get the boot.
Hopefully. One can only hope. But I think the only reason why they kept him around as long as he did, because he lost relevance after, 2008. This guy's been irrelevant since. And he's been a big draw in the Indian market, obviously. He's been the only Indian wrestler they've had, except for Jinder Mahal, and he was never anything big, obviously. So that's probably why, but the guy was never on TV, though. Great Khali was never on Raw.
He was never a threat, either.
He was never a threat,
He never won anything, did he?
He won the World Heavyweight Championship. Yeah, I was like, oh, God, please don't remind me. But, aside from that, he really hasn't played a role on the roster at all. Should he have? No. I mean, the guy can hardly even walk to the ring. It was sad seeing him even walk down there because the guy had so many health issues. So I feel for him. And like we said before, like I said before, I don't want to see anyone out of a job. But like you said, the guy can get an acting job. I think he works as a cop in India or something like that. So he'll be fine. But, Mike, I want to get your thoughts on the Great Khali's release from WWE.
Well, all right. So, admittedly, my biggest wrestling years as a wrestling fan, I got big into it around 1996 until about 2002. And I stopped watching until about 2011, 2012, right after Punk's. So I honestly, when Khali had his world title run and stuff like that, I never really was watching. So I can't really talk about what he's done for the company and stuff like that. I do know that seeing him recently, I mean, I don't know who could have a good match with him. Like you said, the thing that kept him employed was like I've read, was his drawing ability in India. Kurt Angle is the best wrestler in the world, arguably. I don't think Kurt Angle could even have a 2-star match with the Great Khali.
Yeah.
So, especially, I've read stuff that he was making, upper 6 figures, and that's just a waste of money. I understand that he draws in India, but, it's kind of like enough's enough. There's no really return on their investment. So I think it's a good decision. I don't think anybody, especially RJ, is going to miss him. And good riddance, basically.
Yeah, I see what I definitely agree, and I see what you're saying in that. The guy, you made a perfect point at a time when they're laying everyone off, and they got these network budgets and all this other stuff. They're laying, I lost track of how many people they've released this year, and Great Khali was still on the roster. He's up there with, David Otunga, Hornswoggle, guys that, why are you even contracted?
But like you said, the thing about Great Khali is he was making big numbers.
Yeah, he was.
He was making $1 million over at least.
That's
I'm pretty sure.
Big waste
for
of
a
money.
guy that barely was on TV and is a terrible wrestler. Waste of money.
It never did anything.
Exactly. God, I hate Great Khali. I'm sorry, he's gone.
So he is gone. Great Khali is gone from WWE. Obviously, RJ could not be any happier, and he's doing the yes chant as we speak right now.